My name is Chris Herren, I am Faust, and this is my Scotch Parlor story. My love for magic began when I was a kid at about 5 to 7 years old, and I had my grandmother and my mom talk about these Philippine folklore, characters, or these tales, these stories that existed in the Philippines. And just these stories alone, I imagine in my head, how can someone have these, powers, or these mystical powers that create things or produce things? And for some reason, I just gravitated to that kind of story. And then when I had seen Harry Houdini on a black and white television performing card tricks and escapes, that's when my love for magic became. As an art form, I had seen that and I had said, wow, someone like me can actually perform something like this. Faust was born maybe about 10 years ago as a seed, as an idea, when I was going through cancer. And Faust at first was a representation of the loneliness, the helplessness that I was going through at the time, and I knew if I wanted to express my experience with cancer, and if I got through it, that a Faust would be, that expression of what I went through. So fast forward 10 years later, I took this magic class that my wife had just told me to do just to get back into the magic, because she knew that was the one thing that I loved most. And I grew up on magic, and I decided to take this class with a very famous celebrity magician by the name of Jeff McBride in Las Vegas. And this class was very basic, and I think what I had experienced there was the same experience I had when I seen Harry Houdini and heard these tales from my grandma and grandma. I had experienced something magical again. And I had remembered that I wanted to express this character, Faust, in some way, and I thought I was just going to write about, a story or a book. But that wasn't, really in my heart. So I talked to Jeff McBride about it, my teacher, and we began a relationship on the very idea that I would do an act based on masks. So Faust is a daydreamer. He had experienced, this traumatic past, much like I did, but for him, when he's on stage, he's really trying to communicate to people that he wants to change. And he daydreams a lot, so what he does as far as magic, those are his daydreams, those aren't really what he is. So it's an expression of him wanting to change, this sort of desperation. This is called the Broken Music Box. And the inspiration came from actually a friend, and her name is Luna Shimada. And her dad actually is a legendary magician, and I really wanted to capture the theme of life and death, or being able to overcome a very difficult struggle in someone's life. And so this illusion is called the Broken Music Box for a reason, and this is a ballerina that I carved out by hand, and you can kind of see the little details that I put. It reminded me of my daughter, who is a ballerina, and together the theme, I make this doll rise up and down my hand, and at the end I put it back together to demonstrate kind of like that even through difficult struggle, things can be fixed. And that goes along with the theme of Faust, of this metaphor for change. I imagine Faust as being this character or this person who grew up in the 18th century France as a mime. And he was destined to be this great performer. But because of his traumatic past, he kind of became reclusive, and he put his dreams and his ambitions aside. But then these daydreams started coming along. And I think that's where we catch Faust today, is when he comes on to the stage, he's really back into the world to meet people and to start over. My audience can expect something mysterious with my magic and my performance. If they enjoy storytelling of a character and this experience with music and something visual, what you will see is a different world. Faust and I are here to give you, the audience, a close, magical experience.